Hi, I'm Paula O'Sullivan in Blessington, County Wicklow in Ireland. Just making a few short videos, just explaining a few different things that might help people. Today's video, I'm going to talk about thoughts, your beliefs and states of mind, and how you can actually change them if you want to bring you into a better place of peace and joy, and just to be basically who you want to be in life. So just about our thoughts. We have thousands and thousands of thoughts coming through our minds all day, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to stop them coming. Sometimes we have good thoughts, sometimes we have not so good thoughts. Sometimes the thoughts are aware, not so aware. All kinds of thoughts. They don't define you, okay? So if you have a bad thought, doesn't actually mean you're a bad person. If you choose to act on them, that's a different story. So what happens with our thoughts is we take a thought on board and we kind of form an agreement with it. We either agree with it or we don't agree with it. And if we form the agreement, then we're going to actually take some action with that thought. And when we take action then over a period of time on those particular thoughts, whether they're serving us or not and making us a better person or not, we'll actually create habits out of that. And that'll actually affect our behavior and the decisions and choices we make in life, you know? So just to know that we're kind of like, I mentioned in another video that we're like radio transmitters. We're also like radio receivers as well. So we're receiving different thought forms that are in the universal energy, if you like, or consciousness. And as I say, they're coming and going through your mind. So it's up to you to choose which ones you want to accept and make an agreement with, you know. So just to explain a little bit more about that, by the time we're 6 years of age, we've kind of made up our minds as to the way the world is. So we're like sponges up to the age of 6, from zero, when we're born, to the age of 6, we're kind of like sponges. And we're literally looking around us to the universe to see how do we fit in properly? What's the right way to think? What's the proper way of things going on here around us? What's the right way of being in every situation, you know? And I mentioned in a previous video again about entrainment. And what happens is energetically, we want to entrain with the most dominant energy around us for the purpose of conserving energy. Because, and I'll just give you an example of this. If you're ever in with a group of people that you just don't get on with, or you're doing something that you're just not in the flow with, you can see how much energy that takes. It's incredibly draining. Whereas if you're in with a mix of people you get on really well, or say you're in the flow and everything is going just right, there's no energy being used there, it's really, really easy. So you can see where that concept of entrainment kind of comes in from a nature point of view. And there's a guy called Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, and he did an awful lot of, he's a geneticist, and he did an awful lot of work on this for illnesses and stuff like that, people who were born with illnesses. He has a concept called epigenetics. Have a look at that if you're interested. And it's basically that when we're in the womb, we're being prepared for the environment that we're going to be born into. So if you're being born into an environment that's particularly stressed, you're going to be prepared for that, so that it's not such a shock when you're born. And of course, this can lead to many different things happening us, illnesses and stuff like that, you know. But just to go back, I digress there slightly. Just to go back to where I was talking about the thoughts. So you're like a sponge from 0 to 6. So you're picking up on those thoughts and beliefs of those people around you, you know. And most of us never challenge that. We'll carry them for the rest of our lives, you know. It's only when we start becoming aware that we start realizing, you know, hey, this isn't actually working for me, or maybe I've developed some kind of core beliefs, like I did in my own life. I developed some very deep core beliefs about not being worthy or not being wanted, or the feeling of abandonment, that nobody actually wanted me or nobody cared, you know, and I've carried that right through my life. And like I was saying in other videos, I'm a work in progress. I've been working through this myself, you know. So it's interesting work, it's deep work, it can be emotionally painful work, you know. But if you want to change something, you have to kind of put some kind of effort into it. There's always a price to be paid for all of these things, unfortunately, you know. There's no real quick fix, you know. So say you have thoughts coming into your mind, like I said, you don't have to agree with them. It's only when you agree with them that you're actually going to take action, you know. So by becoming aware of this raises your consciousness, and you can actually see, you know, that the thoughts are just thoughts coming through. So if you want to latch onto one and form an agreement and work with that, when then off you go, you know. So that's, as I say, your thoughts can become beliefs. If you keep thinking a thought over and over, it becomes a belief, and that forms a habit, and that affects your behavior. So knowing that the thoughts are, you know, you can choose any thought you like. You can choose better thinking thoughts that'll bring you to where you actually want to be. And when you do that consistently, one thought at a time, start choosing, being aware of your thoughts first, and then say, right, I can choose this thought, it's going to make me feel really bad, or I can choose this thought and it's going to make me feel really, really good. this thought will lead me down, this thought will lead me up. You start choosing your thoughts like that, you can actually form new beliefs. Now, like I was saying, a belief is a thought you just keep thinking over and over and over again. So to reinforce a new belief, you just start thinking a new thought over and over, but you must evoke the feeling of it. So this is where we go into states of mind. We're always in different states of mind. The most successful people have more consistent states of mind. The more unsuccessful, unhappy people have more inconsistent states of mind. Okay, so to get a consistent state of mind like that with your thoughts, become aware of your thoughts and your feelings. Now, I mentioned in the previous video, your thoughts actually create your feelings. So by thinking different thoughts, you can actually bring yourself into a better feeling state. Okay, so to bring yourself into a better feeling state, you must evoke thoughts, feelings, images in your mind. Okay, so to help you with this, think back to a time when you were in the flow, or when you were really, really happy, or something was going really, really right for you, or say you were in sports or something like that and you were performing at your best, or you're an artist, or you're a writer or a musician, or whatever it is you do, or you're working and just something was going really, really well for you. And think back to that particular time, what's happening there for you. Okay, now it's not always, we always sort of, we assign external things to our happiness. It's actually something that's going on within you, usually. Okay, that, you know, this is what will work for you. Because if you're looking for everyone outside of you to create your happiness, what happens when they go? Your happiness has actually gone with them. So, you know, if the real power in this work that I do, it's about empowering you to realize that it's all about you. Everything is in you. Everything you need is actually within you. And with that, when you put that out into the universe, into the consciousness, things will actually reflect back to you, you know. So to get that state of mind, think back to that time when you were at your best, happiest, most joyful, most peaceful. What kind of thoughts were you thinking at the time? Most of us are not aware of that kind of thing. How were you feeling? So if you were thinking, how are you feeling? Okay, I'm feeling peaceful thoughts. What kind of thoughts would you have had to think to make yourself feel peaceful? It's the things you tell to yourself on a daily basis that make you feel peaceful or not, make you feel successful or not. And then think back, was there a particular song? Was there music in your life at that particular time? You know, is there a particular song that makes you feel really good? Start thinking about that song. That's going to bring back those states of mind, you know. Think about, you know, what were you doing at that time? Were you taking more time out in nature? Were you taking more time to yourself? All that kind of thing. So you try and reinvent that back in your mind, and that'll bring up that state again and again. And if you just keep, this is all by repetition. We didn't form beliefs from the early years to now without repeating. And even if you remember going into school in the early years, it was all about learning things off by heart, rattling it off. This is how we learn, through repetition. And we learn experience from the way, okay, I did this and that made me feel this, so I'm not going to do that again, or I am going to do this again. And that's the way we kind of learn, you know. So that was it, just to sum it all up anyway, just about your thoughts, your beliefs, and your states of mind, and how you can actually change them if you want to change them, you know. So that's all I have to say for today. If you want me to make any more videos, or if you have any questions on this one or want me to elaborate, just ask, okay? Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye.